Hey, Packers. Buenos dias. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Namaste. Bonjour. I hope you are well. Ni hao. Happy Thursday. At least that's the day two here that we're working on is a Thursday. Here we are in May, weirdly enough. Hope this message finds you doing well and hope that you have been continuing to work to find a balance between getting some work done because it feels good to get work done, and then taking care of yourself, making sure that you're getting enough sleep, you're being active, all those sorts of things. Uh, Really starting to feel good, really starting to feel like I'm hitting a little bit of a stride as far as finding out who I need to reach out to and who I need to compliment. So many of you are doing great, great work, and that can't be forgotten. So thank you for those of you who are doing great work, and for those of you that are saying, okay, we got 7 class periods left to get this into shape. I got to get after it. Great. Now's the time to jump on it. Just want to review Tuesday's intro assignment with you. Trying to slow down. We all know I talk too quickly, even in person. And then just a real, I think, hopefully a powerful assignment for you. And so today's late work obviously will be due Friday by the time you go to bed. And late work is better than no work. So make sure that if you have some late work out there, either send me a request for a Google Meet so we can kind of talk and look at the stuff, or send me an email with some questions. Important question: which animals should be able to talk? I think obviously with my 2-year-old son, we're talking a lot about animals. And somebody was walking around in one of those inflatable dinosaur suits. I was walking around town the other day, and Frank thought that was pretty cool because I haven't been able to explain to him the word extinction yet. So dinosaurs may be real, dragons may be real, but what real animal do you think should be able to talk? Maybe a narwhal, maybe a squirrel. Which animal should be able to talk? So that'll be your do now. The other thing is, right, and you have such a unique perspective, having been the first 6th grade class, but the middle school is doing such an awesome job. They're going to, not every single student, right, but they're going to individual students' classes, just to say what's up. And you were really the start of a brand new middle school at South St. Paul that I think is really incredible. So that's really cool. There's a lot of people that care about you all, and hopefully you feel that, even though you don't see people every day. All right, so Tuesday's intro assignment was pretty basic. If you haven't finished it, please go back and do it. We used Rosa Parks because everybody thinks they know who she is. Oh yeah, she didn't get up on the bus, whatever, right? But there's really a lot that she can teach us. First of all, just that look. Oh man, feel bad for the guy who had to take that mugshot after she got arrested because she just looks like she's got no time for his garbage, nor should she, obviously. Civil rights movements are movements of the people. Oftentimes we focus on the leaders. Obviously, they're great, but civil rights movements don't happen without people, right? President Trump can tell you the same thing. He wasn't able to be elected except for the people voting for him, right? They're real humans. I wish, and again, I will highly recommend you watch the movie Selma, because it shows these people as real people, people who cry, people who get in fights. Rosa Parks was super frustrated, and she had to leave her hometown because of the way she was treated. So these are real humans, and they are planned. Civil rights movements are not random acts. They are systematic, they are scientific, and they really want to say, what do we need to change? And what are the steps that need to happen for us to do that, which is good for our own lives, right? If we don't like how we're eating or our exercise or our grades, we have to take a planned strategy on how to improve it. And civil rights movements really teach us that. 2 questions from that assignment that I want to highlight because they may show up on an assessment of some kind. 1, what are 3 reasons why World War II impacted the civil rights movement? It was huge, huge. World War II created opportunities for the civil rights movement. Now, this last question is the one that people answer differently. So looking at your answers, civil rights organizations like the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, pushed for African Americans' rights and challenged these laws. That's true. Now, some people wrote also correctly that President Roosevelt and other presidents did some things. Also true, but we're going to challenge you to think about, well, whose story are we telling? If we make it about what the presidents have done, are we telling the story of the people in the civil rights movement? Getting back to that previous slide. It's not about the leaders, it's about the regular everyday people. So just a thought there. This is a real student's answers. Great, love it. Pause, look at that, screenshot it. Those are some good answers. The other thing here where I asked you to talk about this picture, and basically what I'm doing when I ask you a question like that is, can I tell they've read the page, or are they just saying, there's a student with books and sunglasses and other angry students? That's a question of like, what do you see in the photograph, which can be important. But in this case, I wanted to know, did you read the page? And here are the two key ideas. One, she didn't have a phone in her house. That's why she didn't get a ride with all the other 8 African-American students who were going to Little Rock High School for the first day. They couldn't get a hold of her because she didn't have a phone. Think about how much more difficult your life is. Not unlike right now, some of your cousins or some of your fellow Americans can't do this kind of distance learning because not that there isn't Wi-Fi in their house. Like that's one thing. If you don't have enough money for Wi-Fi, that's one thing. But even if you are a millionaire in Minnesota, there are places where you cannot get high-speed internet, even today. And think about how that changes the realities. That's not about how much they want it, right? These students that are going to be your college classmates maybe or your coworkers, they're going to lose out because they don't have this opportunity. So think about, it doesn't mean that she didn't want help. She just didn't have a phone. So think about all those little things. And then the other one is this argument, which we see right now, and we'll always see as long as we study American history, the argument between the different levels of government, right? So the local government, the school district, said, yes, we want to have an integrated high school in Little Rock. We want to have all different races of students going to school together. That's what the local government said. The state government, the governor said, oh no, we don't want the mixing of races, right? And then the national government also, in this case, supported them by sending troops to make sure that they were safe. So we have this argument on the different levels of government, and we see that through the coronavirus outbreak, and we see that in many other ways. What does the national government say? What does the state government say? And we see that there are lots of states doing different things. And then what does local governments do as well? So these two issues, right, would have been nice to see that in your writing to show that you read the page. And if you missed those two things, that's just a good reminder. Oh, you know what? I went a little fast on page 909. I should go back and reread it. Now, today's assignment totally flips it. So I'm trying this week to just give us the basic outline of Unit 8. And then for the next couple classes, I'm going to try to get out of your way for the most part and allow you to explore what you want. But today's assignment is the other side of yesterday's assignment or Tuesday's assignment with Rosa Parks, where I said it's about big groups of people. It's about measured plans. This is totally different. This is about what IB calls the global context of personal and cultural expression. So this is about emotion, art, ambiguities, which means unclear, identity. Who are you? When you ask that question, who am I? People are going to define that in a lot of different ways, right? So we see here Dr. King and his wife, Coretta Scott King. They are dressed in very traditional American middle class, upper middle class outfits. The suit, the tie, the hat, the nice dress, very much like everybody else in upper middle class America, mostly at this point white people. But as we see and as we study these movements, some of the people, goes back to Tuesday's assignment, some of these people are like, nah, that's not part of my identity. That's not part of my culture. It's not to look like everybody else. So we begin to see in particular in the African American community where hair has always been a deeply personal issue and a form of discrimination and all kinds of different things. And we begin to see things like the afro, right? Now, today you see somebody with an afro, some people try to make a joke about it, but in the 60s and 70s, it was a clear statement of personal and cultural expression. I do not have to act or look like you want me to. a lot of high school students, regardless of race, take that issue of identity very seriously. So we also, and we're going to shift gears now because we're not just studying African American civil rights. We want to study a wide range of groups. We're also going to see this today in Latino culture, right? So we're going to look at, particularly in the 60s and 70s, what was called Chicano culture, which initially meant Mexican American culture, but sometimes means more Latino culture, Latinx culture today to be even more inclusive. But there is specific kinds of art. There are even specific kinds of cars. If you've never seen this kind of stuff, these kind of hydraulic operated cars, you got to find them on YouTube. They're really incredible. But there are specific things where cultures say, I see what you're doing. We're going to do things differently. That's what I'm going to ask you to do. I can see I'm over my 10-minute mark. So let me just really quickly show you what you're going to do. You're going to look at a poem, okay? It's an epic poem, which is a definition, not like my opinion. And it's going to look at what it meant and maybe what it means to be Latino or Chicano in the United States. You choose, do you want to read it or do you want to listen to it? Now, stick with me before you open those links. It's not one page, but it's a poem. So there's just a couple of lines, words on every line. And B, all I have are 5 questions, and they are mostly opinion. This is the kind of thing that I wish we were in class for, because I would show this to you and we would just all listen to it and watch it together. But reality, right? So I want you to look at this, read it or listen to it twice, or read it once and listen to it. It is epic. It is long, but it is powerful. Some of it's kind of raw. Some of it's kind of like, oh, it's not really school appropriate, but it is raw and honest about how this person felt. And so it's important. So this is the other side of the Rosa Parks. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to not bend to your will. Today is about emotion, about expression, about what it means to be alive. And so I love this poem, and I beg you, please stick with it, because even though it's weird, I'm going to be upfront with you, it's weird, it's really good. Ooh, okay, so this is my longest intro video ever, but you can tell I'm in a good mood. So I miss you. I care about you. Please reach out to me and let me know how you're doing. Good luck. Stay healthy.